And welcome to today's 4-Minute Mark. We are in Mark chapter 9, and we're going to be looking at verses 33 to 37. They came to Capernaum. When he was in the house, he asked them, "What were you arguing about on the road?" But they kept quiet because on the way they had argued about who was the greatest. Sitting down, Jesus called the 12 and said, "If anyone wants to be first, he must be the very last and the servant of all." He took a little child and had him stand among them. Taking him in his arms, he said to them, "Whoever welcomes one of these little children in my name welcomes me, and whoever welcomes me does not welcome me, but the one who sent me." There's a lot to unpack in this particular passage, so we might be on this for today and tomorrow, and maybe the third day as well. But the disciples began arguing on the road as they're walking along, and they're arguing about which one was the greatest. Now, if you remember the verses that we looked at last week, in those verses, Jesus had talked about the fact that he was going to go and he was going to die. Now, can you imagine being told by your beloved teacher that he's going to suffer and die, and instantly your talk turns to, which one of us is the greatest? Which one of us is the greatest follower of the Master? Which one of us is going to get more rewards when his kingdom comes? Which one is the greatest? We see here that the disciples didn't necessarily have the purest motivations for following Jesus. Yes, they loved him. Yes, they respected him. Yes, he's the Messiah they were waiting for. But there was also that part of them which was saying, what's in it for me? When he sets up his kingdom in Jerusalem, who's going to be at his right hand? What territories am I going to be assigned? Which one of us is the greatest and the most important? Shows us the sinfulness of human beings. That after hearing this very troubling message that their master is going to die, they instantly start thinking about themselves. It shows us how selfish we are, how self-centered we are, how we're only out for number one, and we all are, aren't we, to some degree? Maybe you follow Jesus because you do love him, because you love God, you find God beautiful and compelling, but there might be also a little bit of you that obeys Jesus because other people will notice that I'm obeying Jesus, and they'll really like me. They'll pat me on the back, they'll thank me for the things that I do. We don't have to have 100% great motives for following Jesus. The disciples sure didn't, and this is an example of it, and yet Jesus didn't say, "Get out of here, disciples." Jesus knows that we are sinful. Jesus knows that. Jesus knows the way our minds work. He knows what's in the heart of human beings, and he takes them on as his disciples nonetheless. He'll take us on nonetheless too. I think many people, when they first come to Christ, come because they want to get out of hell. I mean, that's really the message, isn't it? I think that's why I came to Jesus. They want to get out of hell. And yeah, isn't this neat that this God provided a way for us to get out of hell? It's only as you start to grow in the faith that you start to fall in love with God because of who he is. And you discover the depths of God and the depths of your own sin and how much you need Jesus. All of that comes in time. But at that first moment, you're really in it for yourself. Get me out of hell. Get me that get out of hell free card. But that's okay. Jesus accepts people whose motives aren't pure. And that's all of us, really. Okay, that's it for today. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.